Thanks for tuning in. Perhaps your doctor or healthcare provider has recommended that you start incorporating impact exercises into your routine. Things like jogging, jumping rope, or box jumps are really common examples, but not always accessible or appropriate. If you have concerns about osteoarthritis, perhaps you've suffered with plantar fasciitis or have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, I wanted to share with you some gateway impact exercises, some really approachable actions that you can do from home to help you build and maintain your bone mass safely. Firstly, the setup. I'm working in bare feet. In fact, I'm wearing my Pilates grip socks, but you might be more comfortable in a sports shoe or a trainer. And I'm working on a fairly thin yoga mat. So again, you might prefer a mat that's a little denser just to provide a little bit more softening for your joints. We want to be on a sturdy, stable chair. Coming nice and forward on the chair, think about creating that optimal Pilates posture whereby our head is perfectly balanced on our neck and we have our ribs sitting over our pelvis in a neutral alignment, but feeling elongation through our whole spine. I'm going to start very simply. Hands on hips is always a nice idea, just so you can feel your pelvis where it is in space. And we're just going to start with a little tapping action of one foot. So two things are happening here. We're warming up the tibialis anterior, so you'll start to feel a little bit of warmth here at the side of the shin and that belly of the muscle. We're practicing or working that dorsiflexion action. And also we get a little bit of impact there through the soles of the feet. I'm just going to switch to the other foot. So it's a really nice warm up, quite gentle. So you want to do this for about 20 reps. And then see if you can alternate right to left, right to left. So already I'm starting to feel quite warm through that tib anterior. And as I say, a little bit of bone impact there. Now we're going to try the heel drops, which is a really classic bone building action, but in a seated position, so very accessible and obviously not as much load. So we lift the heels together and then we simply drop. We lift the heels, the arches up onto the balls of the foot and drop. You can see I'm creating vibration through my legs, through my hips or into the hip, but very accessible because I'm still in this seated position. So heels lift and drop. Heels lift and drop. Let's go two more. Heels lift and drop. Lift and drop. Okay, now that we've warmed up, we will progress to a standing position. I'm using my chair for support. We want to make sure that we replicate those postural alignments that we had in the seated position. So standing about a fist width between the feet, it can be slightly wider than that. And we want to bring the head on top of the neck. So again, creating that beautiful posture, ribs sitting directly over the pelvis. The pelvis is in a neutral alignment, and I'm really thinking about keeping my spine tall. There is definitely a tendency here in the standing work to be slightly rounded through that sort of upper mid-thoracic and with the head reaching forward. So we want to bring everything into alignment so that we are working with that impact force. We're loading our bones in a safe, functional position. Just a quick reminder about joint health or joint safety. If you have a propensity to hyperextend, I certainly do. I'm super hypermobile. We have to keep those knees just slightly softened so that when we drop the heels, We're dropping with a softness through the knee joints, and not into that hyper extended position, which of course is not comfortable and not safe. So lifting up the heels, and then we simply drop, as the name suggests, heel drops. Now you want to evoke as much force as feels comfortable, and that's a very individual thing again. So always a great idea to check with your physio or your ex-phys, your healthcare provider, whoever's looking after you, whatever load is appropriate for you. So lift and drop. We want to try and create enough force or osteogenic impact that we feel that vibration through the legs traveling up into the head of the femur. And drop. We can do 10 to 15 at a time. Drop, lift, soft knees as you land, lift, drop, and we'll go one more, lift and drop. And lastly, I wanted to share with you a variation on the sit to stand. So I'm going to take my arms across my chest, and then we hinge from the hips just to lean back, but keeping that spine very elongated and tall. Lift your feet and then stomp into the floor to come to a standing position. From there, we're going to hinge at the hip joint, keeping the spine long, finding the chair behind you, and then coming upright. So we lean back, we lift the feet, we stomp to stand, we hinge, we draw the sits bones to the seat, and we come upright. So we lean, lift, stomp, and let's take the arms to a T position and incorporate our little rise to balance. Lower the heels, hinge, find the chair, coming upright. Again, lift, stomp, lift, rise. Lower, hinge, and come upright. So there we are, some really approachable exercises that you can start to do at home. As I say, if you have suffered from any vertebral fractures especially, you want to be guided by your healthcare professional. How much load, how much impact is very individual depending on your particular circumstances, but addressing that need for osteogenic stimulus, that incorporating of impact exercises along with load and resistance is the trifecta, the three things that we need to build and maintain healthy bone mass. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.